We're going to do a video on recharging a plate on a clipper blade machine. This happens to be the Nebraska Blade CS101 with a 16-inch plate, but it really doesn't matter what size plate. This is a used plate where the grit has already been worn. We're done sharpening. A very simple method that we have kind of adapted to is we take a cleaner, a solvent like H42 or Oster blade wash. I'm just going to use my towel just to kind of catch the material as it comes off. And you can see the plate, it's kind of a darker gray. As soon as I touch it, you'll see the material coming off and the plate shining up as we're taking the old spent grit material off. The plate is now very clean. We're just going to dry up any of that extra material that could be on the surface so as not to dilute our adhesive that we're going to put back on to hold our grit. So we're just kind of cleaning it up, drying it up, make sure that the plate is ready to be recharged. We're going to take lard oil, or in this case this is a straight lard compared to one that has been diluted so that it's sprayable. You can use either one. With the straight lard, we usually will apply with the foam brush. I'm going to slow the wheel down to about 25% of its speed. You can hear the motor brake kick in. And we're just going to come across real quick while it's still turning slowly and put a film of lard on the plate. Now what I'm looking for on this plate then is that we have a thin layer. We should be able to take our finger and wipe, and we can see where we do have a thin amount of lard on the surface. If we come in here a little closer and we look at the surface, if I have too much, and sometimes in the middle we'll see a little extra and it'll start to bead or separate. If I was doing that all the way across the plate, I would want to dry that up a little bit. Otherwise we're just going to have to keep putting grit on until we get our proper mix. After we have our film, we'll go ahead and we're going to apply some grit to our plate. Just kind of sprinkle it out so it's easier to get mixed. We're going to take our block and we're going to start mixing our adhesive with our grit on the surface. I'm going to push down with about 10 pounds or so, 10 plus pounds of pressure, maybe up to 15 pounds. And as I go in a circular motion, the plate kind of turns on its own, and you can see that grit mixing in and changing colors from kind of a dry, lighter color to a darker color on the surface, meaning that it's mixing well with the lard. And as I go, I'm going to make sure I've covered the entire surface. No dry spots, no missing points on that aluminum until we have a nice thorough coverage. And we now have a charged plate ready to sharpen. We should get at least 6 to 8 sets of blades on that charge if things are correct.